I was like, nah, something is wrong. Miss so-and-so did not call that in her. So I went into her room, and guess what? The patient was dead, y'all. The patient was dead. Hello guys, welcome back. If you are new today, my name is Andy. I am a family nurse practitioner. And today I bring you guys another Never Make These Mistakes on NCLEX Part 2. If you did not watch the previous one, I'm going to link it somewhere up here or in the description section below. I really encourage you to look at that video because it is such a great video and it will connect with you with this video. It will make sense. Today I have 7 mistakes that you should never make on NCLEX. Number 1. Assuming that NCLEX is like your nursing test. Hear me again. Do not assume that NCLEX is like your nursing school test. Let me ask you a question. Did you do really good on your nursing exams in school? Like all the classes, all the tests, you were just acing them and doing so well? Nah, don't fall for this. Your nursing school test is not like NCLEX. Now you gotta get ready for a different measure of success. Because NCLEX is a total different ballgame. The thing is, unlike your nursing school test that checks your knowledge, right? The NCLEX will test you on how to apply and analyze a situation. NCLEX will test you on critical thinking, how you react to things, how you think, how you assess things, how you apply the knowledge you got from school into a live situation. Instead of memorization, NCLEX will deal with critical thinking and logic. Number 2, do not delay treatment. Did you hear me? Do not delay treatment. Never you pick an answer that is going to cause delay in treatment. NCLEX is all about patient safety and effective care. You know what? Let me put it like this. You have to show yourself approved. Remember what I said in number 1, critical thinking. You have to be able to look at a situation and decide on what is the best situation for the patient, what is going to promote safety for this patient, what is going to give effective care for this patient. Any question that will cause you to delay treatment to the patient is wrong. Number 3, assess before you implement. Assess before you act. You know how in real life, or you see something, you're not even thinking, you just boom, you do. Again, critical thinking. In clinical settings, assessment is your first step. You have to assess the situation. You have to analyze the situation, like what is going on here? What's up? They give you an answer, you take a look at the answer, you assess the situation. What do they want from me? What is the priority? What will give, again, safe and effective care for this patient before I even rush to go do something? What is really happening here? If a patient is bleeding out, okay, and they also have pain, which one am I going to address first? Am I going to address the pain? No. The pain is not going to kill them. It's painful, but it's not going to kill them. But the bleeding out will kill them. So I have to stop the bleeding first. And then I give them something for pain. So assess the situation and apply your knowledge effectively. Because this approach is often reflected in NCLEX exams questions. Number 4, identify the problem first. So number 3, you did your assessment. Now, because of the assessment that I did, I can now identify what the problem is. Once I know what the problem is, I can fix it. Always make sure that you identify the problem first, then you give the solution. Because in NCLEX, they will want you to find out what is the real issue here. and then you can implement. So when you look at the question, you have to identify what the issue is in that question. Once you identify the issue, you can now be able to pick the right answer. Number 5, assume ideal conditions. We all know the NCLEX and the real life. Okay, so if NCLEX tells you that the staff is full, the staff is full. Even though you know that you will go to work tomorrow right after taking your NCLEX in your shorts. But according to NCLEX, everything is always top notch. There's full staff, equipment, supplies, everything is ideal. Everything is the way it should be. So as long as you're taking NCLEX, make sure that you assume ideal condition. Don't say, oh, I'm going to do this because yesterday when I was at work or when I was helping that nurse out, they didn't have this equipment, so the nurse had to compromise. And so you compromised on your exams. No, honey. As far as NCLEX is concerned, the government is good. Everything is perfect. Number 6, take action. You gotta do something. Make sure that you are doing something. Never pick an answer that involves you doing nothing. Remember the other video when I said do not shift responsibility to others? Yeah. Not only shifting responsibility to others, don't do nothing. Never pick an answer that you're not doing anything. Don't pick an option that you're the boss, that you're the manager. You're sitting down giving directions. No, ma'am. No, sir. You gotta do something. Active responses that addresses the patient's issue is always the best answer. So make sure that you're doing something. Number 7, always report anything new and different about the patient. This is very, very important. Make sure that you report something new to the next shift. If you see something new, assess, document, report. Communication is key in nursing. NCLEX want to understand that you got this. Because, say for example, you had this patient yesterday, came back today, came back this morning, and you go to do your assessment, you see a new bruise or you see a new, maybe a sore on the patient that wasn't there yesterday. Report it to, make sure that you assess that, you tell the doctor, you report, you document it, and you report it to the next shift. Because, and not only that, if the patient was not on 𝐥𝐸𝐬𝐸 yesterday and today, they found some fluids in their lungs, or they diagnosed them with heart failure and they're on 𝐥𝐸𝐬𝐸, that's a very crucial information that the next shift needs to know, including your nursing assistant or patient care tech, depending if you work in a hospital. Because guess what? This patient is now on 𝐥𝐸𝐬𝐸, and what does 𝐥𝐸𝐬𝐸 do? It removes fluids from the body. It's a diuretic. This patient is going to pee a lot. If they don't have a Foley, this patient is going to be calling all the time. The nursing assistant has to prepare and have that knowledge that this patient is currently on a fluid pill, so that if they see this patient's call light on, they can go help the patient if the patient requires help to go to the bathroom. Because if they don't go on time and the patient really gotta go, guess what they're going to try to do? They're going to try to get up and go to that bathroom themselves. And guess what's going to happen? God forbid, they fall. Now you got 2 problems in your hands. Something that could have been prevented. Now the patient has fallen. You have to now do incident report. You have to tell your manager. You have to call the doctor. You have to call the family. Too much. And then the nursing assistant now finds out, or later in the shift, the nurse that took over from you say, hey, this person is on a new medication. I had no clue. Or the patient keeps going, I gotta go. Like, what is happening here? And they discover that this patient on your shift was started on a new medication that was never reported to the next shift. That is not right. And which is also your due diligence to do assessment on your patient. Do rounds, do walking rounds. Walking rounds, it's important. I'm going to give you guys a story. The story that shifted my thinking in nursing and changed the way I do assessment as long as I was a nurse on the floor. I used to work in a nursing home, and there was a lot of shady things that happened in this nursing home. But I was just doing my best, and I've always been a person of integrity. So whenever I was there, I made sure that I was doing the right things. Even though I knew that people were doing some shady stuff, I leave them for God. I do my part. I report. Sometimes you report things and nothing is being done because they know somebody that knows somebody. Anyway, that's not the point. The point is, one day I went to work and I had a patient that was on trach. And unfortunately, this patient was someone that if you go into their room, this patient will hold you in there for a really long time. So that particular day, I thought to myself, okay, I was doing walking rounds. I'm going to do my rounds on every other person, and I will do her last. So that in case she keeps me there, at least I know that I have finished with the rest. And if you think about it, it wasn't a bad thing. I was prioritizing. Anywho, I kept walking past her room, right? And she was always someone that would always put on the call light. So first of all, her call light was not on. That should have clued me that something's wrong because she was on that call light all the time, like a lot. So the call light was not on, and I was going around just passing her room because you had to pass her room to go to the other rooms. So I was passing her room, going back and forth, doing things, and her call light was not on. She wasn't moving. She didn't call. And at some point, I was like, nah, something is wrong. Miss so-and-so did not call. That ain't her. So I went into her room, and guess what? The patient was dead, yo. The patient was dead. And guess who had to do all the calling and everything? Moi, your girl. Because guess what? The shift was handed over to me. The shift was handed over to me. I mean, her death was not surprising because she had a lot of health issues, but that patient died even before I got on that shift. So since then, I don't care who you are. I don't care where you're rushing to. I'm going to be there on time. But we're going to go room by room, room by room. And we're going to say, hi, Mrs. Lisa. Hey, how you doing? And now I'm going to have to move to Mr. Jerry. Hey, Mr. Jerry, I'm going to check on all my patients with you. This same nursing home, another nurse also came in for their shift. And thank God, with everything that happened, everybody was like on high alert. Like, and it was this same nurse that thing happened. So we kind of knew the kind of person this person was. So everybody was being careful. So this guy comes to work and goes around to do his rounds. So for him, before he even comes to the nursing station to talk to the nurse, he'll go into the rooms and look at his patients. And this woman was dead cold. Died and was cold. Died and was cold. Like, died a long time ago. But guess who had blood sugar reading that morning? Yeah, the dead woman had a blood sugar reading. This was in a nursing home. And this is like back in the day, which so many people have issues with, working in the nursing home. But there are great nurses that I'm a product of nursing home. I loved my older patients. There are great nurses there, and there are terrible nurses, and that is everywhere. So the key thing I want to tell you today of all of my points is make sure you do your assessment, report whatever is new. Make sure you do that 5 minutes that you're taking to go room by room will save you a whole lot. Will save you an hour of incident reporting. Make sure that you are a good steward of your patient. That you are, as a new nurse, as a new registered nurse, whether you're new or you're about to take your exams, come in as someone that is a steward to your patient, an advocate to your patients, okay? Because you have to love nursing to do it. Some people do it for the sake of money, which I'm like, why? There are so many jobs. ITs, you don't have to talk to nobody. You can do that. Go talk to computers. Go do that. You ain't gotta talk to nobody, okay? So make sure that you're a good nurse. Make sure that when you're taking your NCLEX, you pay attention to details, read the questions thoroughly, and make sure you pick the right answer, okay? Until my next video, I love you with the love of God. Bye.